Hi, so today I'm going to be doing a book review for this book. It is called The Virgin Blue by Tracy Chevalier, and yes, I am doing another Tracy Chevalier book, and I just did it because I really like her books, and I really like that she does historical fiction, because I really love that genre. I feel like I'm saying really a lot. Yeah, so I did another book by her. And yes, I did say her name differently. In previous videos I said Tracy Chevalier, which is how I would read it if I just read it, which I did, and I'm pretty sure how you would read it. I don't know, maybe you would know how to say her name properly. But luckily, one of my subscribers told me how to say her name properly, thank you very much. And so now I can say her name properly, Tracy Chevalier. Hopefully that's how you say it. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah. So let's get into this book. This book is a historical fiction book, like I said before. It follows two plot lines, kind of. First one is set in the Middle Ages, and it follows Isabel de Moulin, and the second one is set in the 20th century, and it follows Ella Turner. So I really liked this book. I'm going to read the back blurb cover thing for you, because I think it really describes what the book is about, and I want this to be a kind of spoiler-free book review, so yeah, so I'm going to read the back of the book for you. The compelling story of two women born centuries apart, and the ancestral legacy that binds them. Ella Turner tries hard to fit into the small, close-knit community of the French town she has moved to. She even changes her name back to Tournier and knocks the rust of her high school French. Isolated and lonely, she is drawn to investigate her Tournier ancestry, with heart-wrenching results. Isabel de Moulin, known as La Rousse because of her fiery red hair, is tormented and shunned in her village, suspected of witchcraft and reviled for her association with the Virgin Mary. When she becomes pregnant, she has no choice but to marry into the arrogant Tournier family. Tormentor becomes husband, and a shocking fate awaits her, as Ella Turner discovers 400 years later. So I really liked this book, as I said before. I really like the character development in this book. One of the things that I noticed straight away with the two characters was their weakness. And that's something that I have kind of like a love-hate relationship with. I don't like it when heroes are weak. I know that happens a lot, but what happens normally is when the hero is weak and the villain is strong, I kind of side with the villain because, you know, they work harder and they're stronger, and then I just don't like the hero. That didn't happen here. There wasn't really a villain in the book. But both of the characters were quite weak, and you know, I think that makes you invested in them, and it makes you want them to do better, and it gives place for growth in the characters. So I think that was good, and you know, they were definitely both weak, but they were both in situations that were pretty hard. Like Ella Turner, as I said, was in a kind of isolated environment, an environment that was new to her, and Isabel de Moulin was in, you know, she got pregnant and she had to marry this really bad guy, you know, who kind of tormented her, as it said. So yeah, my favorite thing about this book, there's lots of different things that I like about this book, but one of the things that I like about this book is that there is French in this book. I really like French, the language. It's in my favorite book, Jane Austen, which has French in it as well. I don't know why I made that reference, but this book has French in it, a lot of French actually, but you can still understand it without the French. And I just really like French. I really want to learn French, and I know they say that the older you get, the harder it is to learn French. I'm getting older by the second, but yeah, I really want to learn French. And I did learn a little bit of French before, but all I remember now is ça va, and comme ci comme ça, and je m'appelle Dylan, so that's basically my French. But yeah, I really liked that part of the book. Another part that I liked about this book, and it's not really about the book, is that it kept me up all night. That hasn't happened in a really long time. I have not stayed up to read a book from cover to cover for such a long time, and I mean, I really liked the book, but I don't think it was like this astronomical, amazing, you know, like the best book ever, but it was good enough, and it was interesting enough, and it was short enough for me to read it the whole night through and to just be encapsulated by it. Yeah. So yeah, I really liked that about it. And then the last thing I liked about it was the connection between the two characters. Obviously they are connected as it is, because Ella Turner discovers something 400 years later about Isabel de Moulin, so they are connected, but there is, and as I said before, both of them are quite weak, and they're both in, you know, rough circumstances. So yeah, but there is more echoing between the two characters, and I feel like they're connected, and things seem to happen between them, you know, at relatively the same time in their lives. And so yeah, I really like the connection and just the way also that it described the complexity of what they were going through in such a simple way. You know, I feel like the things that they were going through, like Ella Turner had problems with her marriage, and Isabel de Moulin had problems with her marriage as well. I feel like it kind of explained that to you in a kind of kind of simple way. Do you know, like it really, I feel like there was complexity, but it was described simply, if that is how I can put it, simply. So yeah, that is what I liked most about the book. And what I didn't like about the book was at the start of the book, for me, there wasn't that much structure. I don't know if it was on purpose, but there was no speech marks, I'm pretty sure, at the start of the book. And then it changed. There was more structure, I felt, later on in the book. And there were speech marks later on in the book as well. So I wasn't sure if that was on purpose. I'm pretty sure it was on purpose, but I'm not really sure why that was. I don't really think it had an effect on me. I didn't like it because it was kind of a different structure, but it was there, and so yeah. And then the other thing that I didn't like about the book was that it changed between chapters. So what would happen is the first chapter was Isabel de Moulin and like what was happening with her and her plot in her life. And the second chapter was Ella Turner, and then the next chapter was Isabel de Moulin. So what happened for me at the start, at the end it didn't really happen, but at the start it definitely did. I read the first chapter about Isabel de Moulin, I was interested. Next chapter Ella Turner, I was interested. And then next chapter Isabel de Moulin, and I picked off right where it ended off at the first chapter. And I kind of like, I was like, who are these characters, you know, what's going on? I was kind of confused because I was still like, you know, I was just confused between the switches. And the chapters aren't short, like there are 10 chapters in this book, and each of them are divided into, you know, the two different characters, except for the last chapter, or the last two chapters. So yeah, it's like kind of a long period spent on one person, and then a long period spent on another person, and you kind of get mixed up. But I think that midway through the book, when you see the similarities and you get to know the characters more, that doesn't really happen, but it did happen for me at the start. So I really like this book. It was another really well written book by Tracy Chevalier, and I really like the historical fiction kind of thing that was going on. Yeah, and I really like that it was about the Middle Ages as well. I keep on saying really. Yeah, I give this book 4 out of 5. I definitely recommend it to you. I said it while not reading it. It is very interesting, and it is, you know, keeps you interested in what's happening. And yeah, that is basically my book review for this book. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you read it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this book review. I really enjoyed this book review. It was fun talking about this book. I recommend this book to you, and yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.